Dear ladies and gentlemen, again, this is Daniel today. I just want to share with you a very important um, issue that had happened to us as a family, and at the same time as something that has to do with Zambia and the future of Zambia. Um, Sometime this year, I lost my brother, Mr. Steven Somekela, or Mr. Steve B, who was killed in Zambia, allegedly killed by the police. I traveled to Zambia sometime in June, around 2019, 20. I arrived in Zambia and just trying to understand what happened, went through the process of just understanding the death of a person that we're so close to. And he happened to be a person I was very close to for many, many years. Um, the approach to the issue of the death of Steve for me was wanted to be very strategic, very different. I didn't want to go to the police and start, telling them, accusing them, why did you do, how did you do this and that thing. But first, I wanted to understand, the system, how, everything works, and had a few interaction with some people there in the police and everything like that. But because I'd taken a different route, and the route that I'd taken was to deal with individuals that were connected to the case of my brother, because it's very difficult for an individual with limited movement, limited finances, and just limited in most of things to be able to go head on with the government. But I also believe that it's not all the time that we need to accuse the government, because the government do not send out people say, hey, go and shoot people. But it is individuals that do not understand their the limitation of their duties, what they should do and what they should not do. In this case, I really want to settle and deal specifically with individuals that broke the law of how to deal with the suspect. It was a matter of breaking the law. There was nothing like, okay, somebody has sent someone to do something. But if that's the case, but then these people will be able to tell, as much as they are taken to prison. Because the prison is meant to be people who are guilty and found guilty, not for people that are not guilty. Now, prior to the death of my brother, I was in Zambia before I came back to America, and I was just basically 1 month before I went back before he died. And we had talked about starting a company that has to do with investigation, and I loved that because I saw so much, inability. I'm saying inability, you know, not doing things very serious in the police. You needed money. Everybody was so motivated by money than motivated by their duties. What they're supposed to do and what they're employed for. But this does not apply to every police. You have to get me right. Not every person, because there are really police that are dignified in the police system, very wonderful people. But in this case, I'm just addressing the wrong people, wrong seed, that are involved in the police. Well, this is what we are. When I was in Zambia, I was able to write this piece of paper. This piece of paper has to do with the investigation of the death of my brother. So, the name was coined in the memory of Zambian Police Reserve, who, together with the brother, which is me, had planned to establish an investigation company a few months before he was killed in Zambia. Currently, investigator of his murder on a micro level involving the Charleston Police and Charleston and Police Service Headquarters individuals only. Now, in this document, I've individualized targeting on the Cheston police and the police officers at the headquarters all involved in the murder of Stephen Samekela. We are calling it murder homicide because it's purely was murder. There was nothing else. We have tried to screen for the following possible offenses they committed on the 9th June this year, 2017. When they killed an armed person, he didn't have a gun, he didn't have nothing on his body. The police officers in question stole from the victim, before he was killed and after he was killed. They stole from him, as you are going to learn, it was a pure criminal that they committed. When we talk about the stole from him, one, the victim had the money on him in the custody, and they had about 12,000. The second, when they came home, the thing that they corrected home, it has been 4 months now. Those things have not been taken back home. Neither have they driven those things back to the family. Say, okay, the case is closed now. Here are the things. They never did that. I went to the police several times, Jason police. Or I could be told, well, these things, there's no list. They don't have the list of the things that were corrected. So assumingly, these people, when they corrected things in the house, they actually shared. Can you imagine that? And the thing that they shared, are some of the things that I sent from America. Things that I actually sent with Amazon. The things I sent, the thing that were in my room that I was sleeping. That's the thing they shared. There was nothing else. So that's what happened. And the phone that the suspect had not been accounted for. This is the phone that actually using. He was killed on the 9th. On the 10th, they were still using it, and then probably even on the 10th and 11th, because the timeline of his account, Facebook account, was still on. But after that, they deleted it. So the only person who delete that are the police, who were using it. So the people who killed them, they were actually monitoring and seeing what people were writing on Facebook. So after that, they deleted it and probably they were thrown it in the trash. I don't know. Like I've already said that they deleted his account. So if this person really, wasn't was killed because of a crime, a criminal, why would the police, whoever it were, delete his account? Why would you delete his account of this person? It's because there is something that we're hiding. That's the only way you would want to delete the evidence of this person. I've already said that the police, the CIO has not accounted for the 12,000 kwacha that the suspect had. Actually, the current CIO, Mr. Ngambi, is a wonderful person. I met him several times. But you know what? He doesn't know about the money. Because the previous CIO, who was actually directly involved in the murder of my brother, she's a woman. She did not indicate this money. She has not elaborated about the money. But you know what? Somebody at the Central Police is aware about the money and knows them who got the money. But you know what? He doesn't want to say it because he says these are his men, so he can't say it. It should be Mr. Sofa or something. He knows about everything. He knows what happened. He's the one who handled this case probably before he was transferred to Cheston Police. So he knows. But you know what? Because there's no that accountability, he can't take this thing to task. Even at Cheston Police are saying, well, these are our men. We can't investigate them. The only people who can investigate them, the Papa Mwamba. Now, people like myself, where even the police itself is inaccessible, how are you going to reach Papa Mwamba? You don't have transport, you don't have a car, the buses are not accessible. How are you going to see Bantu Papa Mwamba? And in the matter ways is that it's not every family that are educated. Not every family that have the ability to face people, to talk to people. So that's how cases go cold. Because the people that were supposed to talk, they are they may not have limitation like in my case, you know. So these 4 months I was in Zambia, one, I faced challenges. I couldn't move around because I don't have a transport, and the person that used to drive me is the person they killed. So you know, when we talk about poverty, I can tell you poverty is not always, you know, something that we are born with. I think poverty is created. when when poverty is created is sometimes can be so is artificial, so to say, because you see the gap when you kill somebody in that way. The children, the future is turned because this person are children, so their future is very unpredictable. Their future is very unpredictable. Why? Is because of the person that killed their parent. I'll continue to read. Again, the police, Houston police at the time of the death of my brother was said to be a failed police station because, you know, everybody was very indisciplined. They were drinking, you know, doing all sort of things. Even at the time of the killing of Steve, it's possible that the police who shot Steve, they were drunk actually. This is the reason why they say they shot him once and in the hip, and that's why they said he was bleeding, and that is what killed him. But you see, when you if you want to say something to the Zambian people, don't tell lies. Okay, this is a medical report. If you're going to look at that, that was from the doctor. The doctor doesn't say, you know, you can see here. You can see here. Let me point at it. You can see here. The doctor doesn't say it's one shot. You know, that's not one shot. You know, 3 shots there. And it's those 3 shots that killed him. So, how would you lie to the Zambian people as so that foolish and stupid for you to say that he died of one shot in the leg or the hip? You know, this chap he didn't even bleed. He has no blood on his body. So how is it possible that, you know, this guy died of one shot in the leg? You know, so this is so dishonest. And if you can be dishonest with the police public relations that everybody depend on to give you a true account of what is going on, how is it possible that you can tell the truth to the family of the victim? So these guys, the police, they lie to the Zambian people. Okay, you know, they are sworn in to tell the truth, to defend the Zambian people. But you know what? They twist the truth. So if your military, your police can twist the truth, what security do you have? Because the police should never twist the police. I mean the truth, because they are there to protect you. But if the person who's supposed to protect you twists the truth, it means they're endangering your life. So this is what happened. You know, I already said the staff they corrected at the home, they have never been accounted for. You know, anybody, I went to see this station officer at Houston Police, Mr. Memphis Kumwenda, a very wonderful person. You know, he didn't have any list. I saw some of the things that were there, but they didn't account to most of the things that were corrected, because we knew the things that were corrected and we had the list of the things they corrected, but they were not the same. At the same time, they, you know, the police who were involved in the murder, they had, you know, gone online and could talk to everybody and sending falsifying information on social media exaggerating the offense of the suspect without proof, and actually lying of his death. They lied. First of all, they lied on the method they killed him and the method he died. So they lied even information about him. So that's how it is. The CIO Houston Police committed an offense of perjury for lying to the public relations of police to disseminate wrong information about the suspect whom they had murdered in a cold blood. Criminally executed the suspect who was not armed. The number of shots do not tally with the one that the coroner had indicated from UTH. So now you see the Madam Katongo, and Mr. Nelson Pili. They went on ZNBC, and whatever method of Mr. Katongo had talked about the suspect. That was not true information. Madam, if possible, if you can hear me, Mr. Nelson, if anybody give you this video, please, go back to your people. Go back, get a true transcript of what happened. Okay? Go to UTH. You can have the same information. You can have the same information, about this man who was killed by your people. You can have the same information. Go back, and get the same information, and be able to, verify, and if you are able to verify what happened, then go back to the media and tell the truth. Because if you don't tell the truth, it means you are comfortable with a lie, and no police is sworn in accusing the Constitution of Zambia to tell the truth. Okay, the Constitution is a holy book. It's a book that governed the nation, a sacred book. So if you are sworn in, you swear by it, and you tell the lie, you are not patriotic and nationalistic to that nation. So, Madam Katongo, Ms. Katongo, and Mr. Nelson Pili, please, I beg you to go back and get the information as exactly what happened, how many shots this Steve had, and then you go to the people of Zambia and tell the truth. Okay? So, even this, it doesn't, you go down there, this was the police who wrote down there, and the shoulder, they say they can shot in the shoulder there. If you can read, you can read there. I know you have this information, so there's no excuse if you can't, reverse the statement you gave. That's why I need people like, I need people like, big people in the police, like, Mr. Kakoma Kanganja, the inspector of police. I want Mr. Eugene Sibote, Mr. Marco Mulenga, DIG operations. I want Mr. Philemon Motale, Commissioner of Special Duties, to look at this matter. Standwell Lungu, Commissioner Administration, Joyce Kasosa, Commissioner of Operations, Mr. Biemba Musole, Director of Administration, Frank Bumuna, Director of Operations, and most importantly, Mr. Webb Shula, Director of CID, Criminal Investigation Detective or Director, and also the Dr. George Pili, Director of Medical, because you have Mr. George. He has to look at the matter. Why did they say this victim died with one shot in the hip when actually there were 3 shots, one in the shoulder, probably one under the shoulder, and then the third one in the hip, and then the suspect died? Why would you lie like that? And also Mr. Joe Nyense, Mr. John Nyense, you have also, if you're a technological person, why would your men delete the account of the suspect, the Facebook account, on when he's died, when actually the Facebook was running, timeline was running, then after some time, the account is seized and the account is deleted? Why would they do that? They did it because they had information, they had the phone of the suspect. So, sir, this is a crime that your people committed, and we don't want this to be dealt by the government. We want you to pick these individuals, deal with them, because these are the same people who messes the image of the government. You know, the government is people. The government is the people. So it's people who get messed up. You know, yourself. If these people you let them move around and continue doing this crime, it's actually everybody hates the police. The police not supposed to be hated. The police are supposed to be loved because they're part of the community. They're part of us. You know. So Mr. Ganganja, Mr. Eugene Sibote, Mr. Malcolm Lungu, that's the homework for you. You have to do something about it. And again, the former CIO of Cheston Police committed the offense of perjury for lying to the public relations police to disseminate wrong information about the suspect, whom they had murdered in the cold blood. You know, so I'm saying, you guys, you got a big duty to make sure that people do not tell lies, the police do not tell lies, and disseminate lies to the public, the people of Zambia. The people of Zambia, they should never be fed lies from the police, because the police, they are there to protect them and to feed lies. No, lies of propaganda. Never do that. And here here the crime that the police committed. You know, they committed frauding. In order to convict the suspect. You know, they told lies, even in death. They told lies about him, so that the people's mind, they are fed with wrong information and convict him even in death. Falsifying evidence. So we need to, like, for me, I looked at evaluating the Cheston police and the headquarter law enforcement and their deliberate and systematic participation in a murder, in organized crime of murder, and also in corruption, fraud, and extortion. Look like this person, there was so much fraud because they told lies. It's fraud. Extortion, they got money. We don't know what they told this person. We don't know why they removed in the cells at night, in the evening. Why did they go home? I mean, they reached home, they even got the phones from the people at home, and when they left, all they did, told the people, oh, suspect are Tava, meaning the suspect has run away. They're taking the suspect outside. When they came back, without saying, oh, the suspect had been shot and right now is in a critical condition, he's been taken to the hospital. Here's the thing. The people who shot the suspect, they came back in the house. The cars that had come with, they were still in the yard. So they must have taken the suspect outside, put him in a different car, go with him somewhere. Other people must have picked up the suspect, go with him somewhere where they shot him and killed him. Because there's no way the people who had come home with the suspect say suspect Ataba, and eventually they stayed at home for some time and they left a bit late. They're with the family, they're picking up stuff and never say the suspect, Amalila. They never say that. They never even contacted the family even then. After the body has taken to the morgue or the mortuary, they never, communicated with the family to let them know. The family came to learn about it later on Saturday evening. That's how they learned about it, because people were calling them, say, hey, Mambela, Steve be Amalila. Steve, the family was shocked. But they said, but the police told us Ataba, what is going on? So you see, how can, professionals behave that way? Again, the CIO shared, did the CIO share in the money that the suspect had in the custody? This is possible, yes, because this is the reason why they didn't explain about the money. This is why they even have to lie at that tower, because they ate the money, So the suspect, why was the suspect removed from the custody without being paraded? According to the Central Police, they say the suspect was supposed to be paraded actually a day in between. Maybe that was supposed to be on Monday. Why did they remove him? What what danger is this, the person who's already in the cells, what danger did he pose to the nation? What danger did he pose to the central, to Charleston police? The guy was in the cell, Madam Fakayeka in the cell. What danger did he pose for them to remove him actually at night to take him at home? What danger did he pose? The reason why they removed them that evening is because he had money on him. And they wanted by all means to go and take them where they could assassinate him and get the money. There's no other reason why they did that apart from that. The Central Police, who had transferred him from the Central Police to Charleston, they didn't follow up as what happened. It means it's either they were colluding, they were working together, or actually they were careless or negligent. Because if you are the Central Police, you're supposed to check, oh, how is the suspect doing? What's going on? Since the Central Police are the one who actually had called the suspect, oh, Boyala, there's some issue we are investigating. And he came. And he was detained. And later on, the same day, they sent him to Charleston Police. And they knew that Charleston Police was not a safe place. Because they knew that Charleston Police was actually, so much indiscipline. Policemen were drinking, policemen were doing all sorts of things. And this is the reason on Friday they took this person out even when it was late, because they knew they had money. He had money, and they take him and they shoot him so that they can go and drink the money. So actually they had a party after they killed him. So the police, they didn't have precise framework of decision making and tax putting together evidence to present in court than to kill the suspect for fear of ramifications. Evidentially shows they had no apparatus to investigate and evaluate the allegations against the suspect, whom they kept in custody over 48 hours without being charged. If he was charged, could have been transferred to a more safer detention center. The police could not prove material collected at the home of the suspect could assist investigators to determine affirmatively the suspect had committed a crime he was accused of. Because this is the thing that I know, there was nothing criminal really. The police lacked critical thinking ability to safeguard the life of the suspect, whom they had possibly tortured and broke his arm at the time of murder. The body can be exhumed if need be. That if the matter is not conclusive and the police not giving a true account of the murder. It was observed that there was police in civilian clothing who had gone to the funeral house to tape and record a family secret without them knowing. Why would that be when didn't fund the funeral of the suspect whom they killed? This was affirmatively denied by an officer from the office of the president, also known as OP. By the way, I'd already reported this to the OP, and they're investigating and to find out who that officer from the OP who would be at the funeral, and claim the police were actually recording the funeral and everything that was being said there. So this could only be possible either this was assassination or the arranged crime that was committed, and they wanted to know which direction the family is going. The next thing is that I want to talk about the police codes as follows. The people that had committed the crime, they didn't show accountability. They didn't show accountability because they lied the number of show that had inflicted on the suspect, who was not yet charged, even was not armed. So they lied. These are policemen lying. Evidence. Excellence They didn't show excellence when they took the suspect to search his house at night when they could have done it during the day with less chance of the suspect fleeing, or wait until they had enough backup if the suspect was thought to be dangerous. The police did not show skillfulness in carrying out their duties. Confidentiality. The information regarding the suspect killing was not respected, especially the report was falsely reported. The family was not informed of the homicide. However, the police lied when they reported to the nation the suspect was shot in the hip, which led to bleeding and death. They lied. According to the State Security Act, they lied to the Zambian people. Human rights. The rights of the suspect were not respected. He was deprived of his dignity and protection of the suspect, including that of the family, when they had to beat the family, including the patient and the sister of the suspect, beating and destroying the door of the rented house, which required the family to repair. Impartiality. Was the suspect accorded or treated fairly and justly? Integrity. The death of the suspect became public issue, where the public fed true information with honest and truthfulness. When they said the suspect was shot once in the hip, yet the suspect was shot thrice, which had led to his demise. Patriotism. If the police can shoot suspects without following protocol of arrest and execution, then it means the police are not upholding the Constitution of Zambia, in which protection of citizens are enshrined. Teamwork. The police team did not apply when the police executed the suspect before being paraded on the 12th. This was supposed to be on Monday, June. Proactiveness. The execution of Steve is indicative of crime committed within the police who executed them. The report in the media show they were economical with the truth. They lied to the Zambian people, and they have not reversed the lie or apologized to the Zambian people for feeding them with a wrong account of how they executed the suspect in cold blood. Okay, now when you see all these, the other thing is, I've already talked about the money that the suspect had money on his body, which was taken from him, and then they did not report that. They had some money on him and they did not report that. Well, the two officers, they were, now let me read this also. The hypothesis of the money that he had. Is it possible he was asked to pay so much money that he could be let free or even run if he go at his home at night? It is possible those who coerced him to bring the money also could have sought him out. Can his phone tell us who were the last police or woman to talk to him, policeman or woman who were last to talk to him while he was in the custody, and what did they discuss? B. In case someone discovered he had money on him by those who were interrogating him or even torturing, could they have concluded he was a co-criminal because he had money on him, and therefore rushed to his home to see what thing he had in the house? However, the truth is, Mr. Kazea and Mr. Chilikima Mabin, met the suspect few hours before he was killed. These gentlemen are the one who had removed the suspect from the custody and drove into Northmead police station, met the person who had bought the car. They knew the suspect had cash on him from the sale of the car. Mr. Kazea and Mr. Chilkima Mabin. Okay, I have their phone numbers here. If you want to call them, you can just, if you're a journalist, let me know. I can give you the phone numbers. Comment and observations. The police that asked him to pay for his freedom could have either been a sellout or actually corrupt officers who wanted to take advantage of this desperate and disappointing cry soul of a young man. These have been the police who told him will help escape once they are home. This is the reason they walked him out of the house from the group of the other police. On went out with the rest other. No, why go out only four of them and leave the four of five in the house? Why did they remain if the suspect was running? Is it possible to locate the phone of Mr. Smith and then find the last contact he had communicated with as well as casted? Following the sequence or text of call log, text or established time frame of Mr. Smith communique. If the phone has been tampered, will require to be subject to forensics to salvage any information of importance to assist with the investigation. This will assist from independent forensics. Since his Facebook account was deleted, who could have done it? If this is the police who got his phone, what was the motive? Was taking his phone a means to destroy evidence? Okay. So the other thing they talked about the gun. During my stay, I know Steve, we had actually a very old pistol, a very absolute, obsolete pistol, which he told me he had it from he got it from the madam who was working with him at Emersdale, and he was his boss actually. The reason why he told me about this, because as we were thinking of starting a security company, and we were thinking about how can we actually buy guns and bring to Zambia for our security firm. Now, and another thing is, this need to know the sake of friends. The other thing is that need to be done is who we talked about the crime that was committed. I talked about it earlier before. Robbery, theft from another person using weapon of force. That's what they did. Homicide, manslaughter, they killed that person. Public intoxication, these guys, they must have been drunk. Forgery, removing this person from the custody when they are not instructed. That was more or less a kidnapping. Embezzlement, theft without valuable interest to you. They stole money from this guy. So that's what happened. The other thing is, we need to know the circle of the victim, because they said he raped, someone said he raped a girl from Chalimbana, another one said from University of Zambia. Now the question is, there's need to know the circle of friends also have access to our personal phone from the phone service for the purpose of establishing if the victim was in touch with the suspect. The phone should establish if the victim had relative or friends in the police who could have influenced the case in the way it turned out to be. Corrupt police. So I'm talking about the person that they say that was raped, and interviewing the victim of rape. Who is the student who was raped? When did the actual rape take place? Where did the incident take place? Scene must be recreated to establish the act as told by the police. What time did the victim get raped? When she got raped, what did she do? Who did she inform first? Interview the victim parent and guardian, friends of the victim. Access the phone of the victim. Record the question both in written and audio. When did the police get a report? Traceable forensics evidence. Did the victim seek the medical report or test for sexual transmitted infection? So that is what's supposed to be done. The police have not provided the name of the victim. They have not provided the evidence that was gotten from the person who is said to to have been raped. That's information have been there. Okay, so now the person who confirmed to be working for for the OP is Georgia Mutalemukusa. Georgia Mutalemukusa. So Georgia Mutalemukusa, she has actually been reported to the OP, and the OP are trying to find out what branch of the OP does, if she works. Now, in all this, you're going to see that it's not a very easy and straightforward case. One thing I've not mentioned is about there's a guy called Chenda from Zambia. He has an issue also on the same thing. Chenda is one of the interesting guy that know a lot of what happened to Steve. Is he knows a lot because I have communicated with him whilst I was in Zambia, and I think he's a person of interest. Mr. Chenta is a person of interest as well. So we will need you guys that are gonna watch this video, pass it on to friends, relatives, and if possible, please pass it over to TV stations so that they can probably get some snaps of it and share with the public. Okay. Thank you. God bless you.